Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. Now let's get you through the newspapers this morning. Show you the big stories making headlines across Nigeria. We're kicking off on the Punch newspapers. Multiple taxation. Tinubu Panel asks government to drop 190 taxes. OPS blames states. Panel okays 10 levies, says 200 taxes burdensome. Lobbies National Assembly states. President endorses tax reforms. Panel to address FEC-FIRS pledges implementation. It's a lot, actually, in that story. You may want to read more on that and get exactly what the story is talking about, because I know that the current president, is known, to be able to generate a lot of money through taxation. That was the story, according to what happened in Lagos in 1999 to 2007. So you may want to open up on that story on the Punch this morning and just get some clarity. But that's what's on the front page of the Punch. Senate probes 11 trillion naira refinery repairs, summons Kyari. That's also a thing. We did speak about that this morning and how it seems to be, a move that doesn't have really a lot of sincerity of purpose. It's the same probe that they've been doing for many, many years that doesn't lead anywhere, doesn't lead to anything. And of course, we never get to see any progress, right after these probes. The National Assembly has not shown that it is different, from, at least that it is ready to take what Nigerians are crying about seriously. Where will the probe end? Will people be prosecuted if money was mismanaged? Will agencies be, maybe asked to do better? I have no idea, really. But that's the story on that one. EFCC chair orders staff to declare assets. Reps fault CBN's forex ban lift. NECA kicks. And we did also speak about, a little bit about that one. But there's more people who are pro Yemi Cardoso, and of course the lifting of the ban on forex for importing those 43 items. There's more voices, for it than there are against it, and there's more people who say that that is a great move by the Central Bank of Nigeria. I'm not sure what the House of Assembly, might have against it, or maybe they're just seeking better clarity on what it will achieve. But more people have said that it is a great move. But like a question that I asked initially is, does the Central Bank of Nigeria even have the forex to give these people who want to import these items? And I mean, they've not been able to provide forex to petrol importers, independent marketers rather, to import petrol. So are they going to get forex to give to these other people who want to import these numerous other items? I'm not sure. DSS nabs suspected terrorist wife, recovers 150 AK-47 rifles. Interesting. Lagos cancer doctor Olale bags life jail for rape. And there, of course, has been mixed reactions, from those celebrating this victory in the fight against gender-based violence and sexual assault in Nigeria.
And they have those
and hopefully
supporting
changing the narrative concerning gender-based violence here in Nigeria, and making more people hopefully bold enough to speak out and out these abusers in our society. There's those people, then there's those who feel life imprisonment is too much. It's unfair. That's too harsh. Anyway, these are the big stories on the Punch newspapers this morning. Of course, a sad story there. Slain Nigerian student in the Philippines. Police file murder cases against suspects. That's the final story. Let's move from the Punch to the Daily Independent newspapers.
Right. And on the Daily Independent newspaper, the big story says, there's another one. Court orders delay printing of sensitive materials. That's, of course, by INEC, and this is in reference to the Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa gubernatorial polls. It says violence threatening conduct of elections in 3 states. Parties urge INEC to use poll to deal with confidence deficits. Yes, and that's very important. One of our guests, I think it was 2 days ago, had talked about how we will find out in these elections if INEC has learned a thing or two from the elections that were done, the presidential elections, the gubernatorial elections that have been done in other states as well. We hope to see like a massive improvement from what we saw before and what we're expected to see in the coming days. Reps summon CBN governor over lifting FX ban on toothpicks and others on page 29. Sanwo-Olu inaugurates automobile assembly plant in Lagos on page 29 as well. CAC uncovers 189 fake companies defrauding Nigerians. And that's very good news. And I'm hoping that we can have systems that encourage people to be able to check to always like do their due diligence. We can encourage more people to always check before you go into business with certain companies, to go on the CAC portal and check that these companies are real, that they are existing, and they're not some fraudulent individuals that are trying to take advantage of a rather desperate people. Tinubu's tax administrators mull single-digit collection strategy on page 7. Alleged P and ID scam, EFCC opens case against fleeing Britain James Nolan. Interesting. Senate justifies purchase of SUVs for lawmakers, urges Nigerians to focus on ministers. Food for thought. Did you see that headline? Senate justifies purchase of SUVs for lawmakers, and then urges Nigerians to focus on ministers.
Yes, absolutely. They said, that they need those cars for mobility to those hard-to-reach areas.
They couldn't get them any of the Nigerian-made cars that wouldn't have cost as much.
Those ones don't go that far.
They don't go far. Wow, must be nice. FAAC shares 903.480 billion naira to federal government, states, and local governments for September. All right. And we have Senate probes, 11.35 trillion spent on refineries in 13 years. It's a conversation we had in the first half of the show. Where do these monies go to? Is there even any confidence that there will be any headway made after this investigation is done? And if there are people who are pointed out to maybe have been culpable in mismanagement of these funds, will they be made to face the law? Not a lot of people express confidence that this will happen. They are, of course, questioning Resources Ministry, NUPRC, NNPCL, and BPE. Final story this morning on the Daily Independent: why I want Tinubu to remove Abia, Imo, Ondo from NDDC by Clark. Urges him to publish forensic audit report on agency. That's all that we have on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. And let's head over to our next paper.
All right, and now on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we can see there, Senate, yes, Olive just spoke about it, Senate okays or justifies the purchase of 160 million naira SUVs, says Nigerians to examine lifestyle of ministers. Probes 11.35 trillion naira spent on refineries maintenance since 2010. Once again, these cars aren't Nigerian-made cars. And, I did say, a few weeks ago that the body language and from the, little details here and there can really tell you if the government in power is a government that really understands what's at stake and is willing to do the right thing to fix Nigeria. This is not that government, from what it seems. This is not that government that understands that Nigeria doesn't have money to waste. This is not that government that understands that, optics matter. You cannot be telling people to tighten their belts when you want to buy 160 million naira SUVs.
And telling them to focus on another person. It's just like someone comes to tell you, for example, that, Osarogie, you've not been doing your assignments, and you're saying, your teacher telling you you've not been doing your assignment. You're like, teacher, don't look at me. Focus on my colleague too that hasn't done his assignments.
Oh, well. But I mean, again, these are the signs that you may not see anything different, in particular in the next 4 years, with the way that the country is run. I'd made a request yesterday, a plea yesterday, about how somebody needs to at least do something better. But I mean, the point is, this is not the move that you would expect from a Senate or from a National Assembly that wants to be better. Clark to Tinubu, amend NDDC Act to exclude Imo, Abia, Ondo as non-Niger Delta states. Court sentences Lagos Dr. Olele to life imprisonment for raping his wife's niece. U.S. court denies urgent request for release of Tinubu's dossier. And of course, Southwest governors visit Akeredolu in Ibadan. Ondo Deputy Governor tackles assembly over letter to CJ, tells CJ to disregard letter to investigate him. Final story this morning: Nigeria to vaccinate 7.7 million girls against leading cause of cervical cancer. These are the big stories on the Nigerian Tribune this morning. And that's where we'll be wrapping up with the newspapers this morning. Stay with us. We have more trending conversations coming your way, of course, in the news and in politics. Stay with us right here on Breakfast Central.